This is Bala. We would like to introduce you, Bala.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
can you please
just introduce Dr. Bala Murugan. Dr. Bala Murugan is Chief of Uveitis and Ocular Inflammation at Arvind Eye Hospital, Pondicherry since 2010. He's currently Chief Editor of Uveitis Society of India and reviewer of multiple national and international journals. And he actively participates in national and international conferences in the field of uveitis all over. Over to you, Dr. Bala, for your presentation.
And after Bala's presentation, Jatinder, you, Feroz, and Dr. Santosh would request all of you to discuss.
Yeah.
Sure, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, one and all. At the outset, I would like to thank AO Scientific Committee for giving me this wonderful opportunity to present the aspects in uveitis subspecialty on good versus bad abstracts. Lot of points have been already covered. The definition of good and bad varies with a lot of people, but broadly, we have a consensus that enlisted how a good has to look. The formula for success lies in the proper designing of the topic and the title and the motivation of the person who does the research, and specifying the problem statement and the approach to the problem, and meticulously stating the results and meaningfully correlating the conclusion with the topic and title in the conference abstract. Basically, there are 4 C's: comply with the word limit, give us clean, error-free reports, don't have any discrepancies, use clear, simple sentences, most importantly, concise or brevity is the secret of success. So what I did was the last 10 years of AOS uveitis subspecialty abstract, I have gone through and characterized a few examples of how a good abstract should look like. The first one was if you have a study which is multi-centric, it definitely grasps attention. This was one of the beautiful abstract where the researcher collaborated with multi-institutions in US and as well as Italy, and they nicely correlated the retinal vasculitis and retinal vascular occlusion, and this grabs definitely an attention. In the methodology part, this abstract has definitely used a specific diagnostic criteria, and in the results, they have nicely used the best corrected vision specified in terms of logmer as well as the Snellen sequelae, and they have nicely characterized the vitreous hemorrhage in percentage and all the other sequelae, and meaningfully they have concluded that it is a heterogeneous group, and there is an occlusive retinal vasculitis which requires meticulous surgery. So this definitely grabs the attention of the person who evaluates this abstract. The second thing which I learned from the review of the AOS abstract is we had tackled the felt problem in the practice. So this was again how to distinguish acute VKH from acute CSCR using a novel imaging modality called OCTA. So this is actually hitting the hot spot. So we are actually tackling the felt need of the audience, and they meaningfully concluded that OCTA has certain signs which helps in differentiating the flow void areas, the capillaries, and the choroidal ischemia. And this differentiates CSC in the acute stage. So it's really a practical, although there is a novel modality here, it really hits a hot spot, and definitely it will arouse the attention. The third thing which a good abstract should have is it should arouse the attention of an important problem. So the important problem the author here tackled was the necrotizing anti-scleritis in a tertiary care center. Definitely this is going to grab attention, and they concluded that the cyclophosphamide is the most important commonly used immunosuppressive, and what could be done better is they could have refined the title in a much better way, like what we get in the WhatsApp.
Sir,
media.
please conclude.
So, and yes, so we need to have. Sometimes we may not have a new problem, So even an intermediate uveitis with the region variation they could present. Sometimes we can focus on the changing practices like weak age, what has changed. So this definitely grabs attention in South India, and they've used all the contemporary imaging modalities, and they concluded that there is an usage of early parental steroids will definitely help the audience. And sometimes hardwood wins lots. What does it mean? So this here, there is an extensive study period of more than 20 years, and they targeted the sympathetic ophthalmic in pediatric age group. This has grabbing attention, and it has won the best paper award. So sometimes we have to be novel. Here the PCR from a tertiary eye care center, they found out how it is useful in the infectious uveitis. The people are definitely going to be inquisitive to look into this study. And sometimes we need to focus on the neglected subpopulation like HIV, where the challenges of using the RT-PCR is illustrated. Sometimes huge international study was presented in the national conferences with a common understanding. Here there is a multi-centric study on tuberculosis of COTS data, and they have concluded PCR is not used in Indian scenario. Sometimes how not to write abstract, I'll give two illustrations. If you give too much data in parentheses, it doesn't augur well to the audience, and too much of statistics also is to be avoided. Just being novel is not enough. Sometimes we see abstracts with no data, no statistics. So just being trendy with color imaging and posterior uveitis, no data, no statistics, it doesn't augur well. And we need, sometimes we tackle the felt need, quantifying the vitreous inflammation objectively. Wonderful concept, but look how the results and methodology, too elaborate. So brevity is missing here. So this is how we do not want an abstract to be, although the topic, the concept, the hard work, everything is there. This is how the abstract shouldn't be. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bala. Thank you very much. Excellent presentation. And I would request now Santosh, Feroze, and Bala to please discuss.
Thank you, sir. Shall I just put in some tips before the masters take over? All
Please.
right. Yes. So a few things that I would like to point out here is, writing an abstract is definitely a stepping stone to getting it accepted. So, and the reason for us conducting this is basically aimed at presenting a good abstract for paper, poster, and video for AIOS in the coming AIOS for all the audience, the delegates, be it postgraduate students or anyone else. So what I would say is few things. Most of the things have been covered. It's nothing too much extra that I'm going to speak here. It has to be very precise, and in fact, even in an abstract with 200 words or 300 words or even 100 words, it has to be organized. Starting from the title. So all of us have been talking about keeping the title very, very simple. It doesn't have to be too, fancy or anything where it's exactly, you have to represent the title regarding the study, what you really want to convey. It's a message. The title has to be a message, and it doesn't have to be fancy at all. Now, regarding the purpose is basically the research question, and that is how organized you go. And now in the methods, there are certain things that you have to always write about is basically the type of the study, the duration of the study, the primary outcome, and the secondary outcome. So in very small, words, simple words, these are the organized way of writing methods. Now, results, always it has to start with how many number of subjects or number of eyes that you are studying. Then comes the demographics, and then what is the results of your study. What you have to looked in, what you have looked into, be it the primary outcome, the secondary outcome, or the tertiary outcome, if at all you have. And all these things, whenever we look into an abstract for selection, definitely statistics matter. So it just cannot be a random sentence of giving the numbers, but some amount of statistics has to be present in the results of the study. Now, conclusion is basically what there are so many results that you would have got from the study. So the conclusion has to relate to your purpose. And mostly it is always better to keep it very precise where you're talking about the primary outcome. So this is what I would consider, writing a good abstract is. But I also believe that in a video abstract, it's totally different. Paper and poster presentation abstract is slightly different from what a video abstract is. In video abstract, it's like you are actually presenting a procedure. So you have to say what you are, taking the audience through, like what is the kind of surgery, what is the importance of the surgery, and how innovative your surgery is. This is what I have to say here. And in fact, I learned my abstract writing, be it for American Academy, AIOS, or any other conferences, from my mentor, Dr. Santosh Honavar. He has really taught me how to do it. And I'm so fortunate to have learned from him. I would invite Dr. Santosh Honavar to take over.
Thank you, Feroz. So before Santosh pitches in, so I would like to tell you the videos that we received last year, 404 video abstracts we received last year, and only 50 of them went up to the presentation in the AIOC. So that is the type of, aspiration people have. And thank you for bringing up the video abstracts. Santosh, over to you, please.
I think everything has been covered. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, nothing. I just wanted to say that everything has been covered so well that I have to endorse everything that has been said so far. Title, I would actually stress on the title. I would think quite extensively about what to title a paper. It has to be very interesting. It has to arouse the interest of the reviewer, right from the beginning. So title has to be catchy. It doesn't have to be long. It should not be too short, but it has to be catchy. And just by looking at the title, somebody has to, reviewer or whoever is looking at it, has to get an impression as to what the study entails or what does the study have to offer. For example, for adenoid cystic carcinoma multimodal treatment, I would ask a question as a title. Does multimodal treatment in adenoid cystic carcinoma improve eye and life salvage? That would be a question. So the reviewer would be looking at answer in the abstract for the question that you have asked in the title. So title can be a question, and purpose has to bring in what is the lacunae in knowledge and what are you going to do. Both have to be addressed in the purpose. You cannot simply say that the purpose of the study is to analyze the 100 cases of ptosis. That is not the purpose. But what were you looking for by doing that study should be addressed in the purpose, which should be very briefly so. And the method, as Feroz and others pointed out, it has to address the type of the study that has been undertaken, the setting of the study, but without disclosing the identity of the person who has done the study or the institute. In many of the abstracts, you find the mention of the institute or clues to the mention of the institute. For example, a prominent eye institute in Chennai would mean only 4 or 5. Right, so we should not do that because that loses the sanctity of evaluation because it's blinded. And ethics approval has to be part of the methods. Currently, I think that has become very important that we should have either the ethics committee approval or for a randomized trial CTRI registration. Both need to be mentioned without having to mention the number. We should mention that the study had been approved by the ethics committee or appropriate authorities, especially if it's an experimental study, such as gene therapy, etc., then approvals are important, and that should be part of the abstract. Results have to be succinct, but due weightage has to be given to mentioning the appropriate statistical method that has been used and the statistical validations of the study. And the conclusion should always be based on the results. There should be no extrapolation or speculative sentence in the conclusion. It should be straight based on the primary or secondary outcome measure that has been addressed in the results. That's it.
Thank you very much, Santosh. Balla?
Yeah, I think very nicely covered most of the points, as very rightly previous speakers and the experts. I think the two main important of the abstract is, one is title, which really reflects the purpose of the study. Title has to be very clearly worded. It has to be precise. It may not be very flamboyant in the wordings. And the second most important part are the results. Results should indicate what your research question was. It should simply answer your research question, indicating the number of patients or the number of eyes, and also including the statistical significance, statistical methods used. And the conclusion, very rightly pointed out, should be according to the research question which has been answered, and no extrapolation. Whatever you had answered, I'll just like to share screen and indicate one bad abstract. Yeah. So now, like in this, the title of the study is not providing complete information of the study. And in the purpose also, it is all jumbled up. It is so crowded that it's very difficult to exactly point out what is the main purpose of the study, what is the research question that needs to be answered. It could have been really done in a very brief manner. And then aims and objectives, although it has been written properly, but it is, I think this could also have been really done in a very brief manner, so that only the important points which the research question that has been framed should be answered, instead of including all the parameters. Only the important parameters which are significant to the relevance and title of the studies could have been answered. And in the methods also, like what has been done, although it is accurate, but then if you see the results and conclusion, again, all the parameters like mean angle, the trabecular iris surface area, anterior chamber angle. So the interest of the viewer is totally lost. So only the important parameters like anterior chamber depth, the anterior angle opening distance 500, 750, only the important points which are really significant could have been answered. And then if you see the conclusion, what has been done is that it is too brief. What the title, what the research question was framed, and what the conclusion that has been arrived, I think they are not in sync with each other. So very rightly pointed out by all the experts, the conclusion should be able to answer your research question, and it should not be extrapolation. Right. I'll just end my presentation here.
Thank you very much, Balla. I would request our chairpersons, Dr. Harbansh Lal sir, Dr. Barun Naik, to Dr. Surendra Pandav sir, to give your last comments.
So can I just add one point here, sir? Regarding the results, it's just to point out, like at the end of the result, it's very, very important to mention the follow-up duration, because, that really shows us the, how well the study has been done. So follow-up duration is very, very important. So it can be the last line of your results, apart from all the findings. Yeah. Thank you.
Harbansh Lal sir.
Yeah, hi Partha, thank you very much for bringing out in a very nice manner. It is very, very educative and informative actually. I learned a lot today, and I'm sure if the youngsters watch it, it will be very, very useful for them. So really those who had done a tremendous work in the field of writing, publishing, and doing the instruction courses, you have really included them. So it was overall excellent program. Thank you very much for bringing up such a good program to the Indian ophthalmologists. Thank you very much, Partha. And
thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Surendra Pandav sir.
Thank you. I think a lot of discussions have happened, and a very useful discussion, I would say. And I think I must congratulate you for organizing this program, because I don't remember any, earlier any program like this where this probably will be the most useful program which I have attended, participated in, and many people who are joining us online, I think they're all going to be benefited with this, because this is a key activity from academics point of view. I think the abstract is very important. It is the first step, I would say, is the stepping stone to a presentation or a paper, whether video or oral or even for a poster. So I think this is very important to get, how to write a good, abstract, and how, what are the different components to understand different parts of the, the abstract, and, give an appropriate attention. So I think I personally have learned a lot, from different views, and I must congratulate you once again for organizing this program. I think this is wonderful. All presentations were great and very well presented, very well discussed. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Dr. Rishi Swaroop and anybody else would like to comment before Dr. Barun Naik finally gives his final comments? Rishi, any of our scientific committee members, please. Amit.
Martha, I would like just to say that I hope we have created good insight among all our submitters for the coming AIS conference. Still, the date is left. We have 15th September as the last date for abstract submission for our paper, poster, physical poster, e-poster, videos. So after attending this particular webinar, I think we should send a flyer to all the AIS members now that before you submit your abstract, please go through this program on YouTube or Facebook, learn how to submit the abstract. Let's just not increase the volume and the burden of the evaluators. Let's submit good scientific abstracts and let's hit the nail. That's what I would like to say.
Thank you. Parikshit.
You're muted, Parikshit. You're not audible, Parikshit. You're not audible.
I hope that more people submit the abstract, so the burden of the evaluators actually increases and they have to evaluate more of them. But yes, it will go a long way. It is a brilliant idea by Partha sir, and with such a great panel. We need good abstracts, not just for AIOS, but for all the meetings.
Quite correct. I think one point that was still leaves to be highlighted is the fact that the abstract should be submitted earlier than that last date, that last hour, and that last minute. Because when you look into the abstracts, so an evaluator, and we have 30 evaluators in different sections. So if Santosh is evaluating oculoplasty and he has 152 abstracts to evaluate. So by the time he gets to the 152nd abstract, he is definitely drained out with the burden of the evaluation. So I think a very important point is if the study is in place, if the results are in place, if everything is in place, abstract submission should be as soon as possible for any meeting or for any publication as well.
So we are expecting very good quality abstracts this year. Keep it really simple, get it organized, and hope the evaluators and reviewers doesn't have to have a Webster's dictionary also beside them. So keep it really, really simple, to the point and precise. Thank you.
Rishi, any comments, please?
Yeah, I think if you, Dr. Barun Naik sir, Dr. Pandav, Dr. Harbans Lal, and Dr. Santosh all stressed on the novelty of the topics as one of the things, as the title. I think if you have to take clue about the novelty of the title and the subject, you can take clue from the topics of the webinars of scientific committee, that this is absolutely novel topic and this has never been covered before. And I think it's a brilliant concept and it's really practically useful to all the attendees and the prospective abstract submitters.
Rishi?
I'd like to congratulate Dr. Partha on coming up with something so unique, and of course the entire scientific committee. I haven't seen this anywhere, and I think it's a brilliant idea. And the quality of abstracts is certainly going to be much better, I'm sure, and going to make your job easier, Dr. Partha.
All the evaluators.
Either easier or more difficult.
You are one of the evaluators, Rishi. So your job is going to become tough with the number of abstracts pouring in.
So Dr. Partha, everything has been covered. Just to reveal one magician's trick or one reviewer's trick is that if it's a bad abstract, it doesn't take more than 30 seconds to reject it. So I think all the submitters should make it very difficult for us and very hard for all the reviewers because they have to go through all the 150 abstracts well, because nothing will be a bad one. So they'll follow this program and they'll all be good abstracts.
I think, Partha, we should send a mailer with the link of this program to all our AIS members soon.
I think that's a very good idea, Amit. Very good idea, yes. Barun Naik, sir, sir, your last comment, sir.
Yeah, first of all, Partha, I must congratulate you on this topic because these are the topics which means, and any appreciation doesn't come easily from me. So this program was really, I always used to feel that especially people are lacking in preparing abstract, in preparing abstract, even in writing papers for journal. So some of the points is really very nicely highlighted, but 1, 2, 3 points just I want to again re-emphasize that abstract writing is not something which is just easy thing, and especially for the conference abstract, because in paper the word count is usually 250 words for the research paper, original paper. But for the conference programs, the abstract very limited number, either 1,000 word count or 100 or 150 word count. So you have to fit in any space or any word you should not unnecessarily use, and unnecessarily don't exhaust that limit by writing unnecessary things and flowery language. So everything has a meaning, whatever you write. And but one thing which probably no one highlighted, everyone said good research, good abstract, good abstract, good abstract. But before that, it has to be a good research, because I noticed, and which Partha also emphasized, that last day people start submitting and we get a lot of submission of abstract. But why this happens, I don't know. But many times I see many doctors, they say, well, last date aa raha hai, jaldi hai, mere ko abstract submit karna hai. And then they have not even missed. I don't know whether they have done any study or they just want to cook up something and then write abstract and submit it. So that kind of hurriedly planned anything, or sometimes one thing which again, as one speaker highlighted, I think the first Manisha, that the result should always show the numbers and analysis. The statistical analysis should not be just results will be presented, or the results will be analyzed and outcome will be presented. Because if you have not already taken out those results and analyzed, then how can you come to conclusion? What is your conclusion? So that part. And last point I want to emphasize, because one speaker, I think Balakrishna, highlighted that point about inclusion, exclusion, which Rajesh also emphasized in his comment. But that is really very important. And when in the result, if the space permits, say in abstract section of the paper, definitely those things, there is some scope for extra word. Extra word means the limit is 250 word. But in scientific committees programs, that kind of a space is not there. So there you should also miss, because all the reader, all the those who are listeners or the audience or the readers should be able to judge where this result is going to be extrapolated properly. Because if you write that so many patients were taken and so many patients we planned, and in that planning you write inclusion criteria, and Rajesh very nicely pointed out that suppose you say we will take a senile cataract, which the inclusion criteria was senile cataract between the age of 40 and 60. And then in exclusion criteria, you said traumatic cataract, secondary cataract were excluded. Are Baba, this, how can you include that before, unless only once you have in your that initial criteria, if someone fits in, then only out of that, because suppose if you say, okay, out of that, all those who had diabetes, we excluded them. It is understandable. So those kind of, or say this type of cataract was excluded. But also in the result section, you should write, because this is definitely, if space permits in full text, definitely yes, you should write the total, how many patients did you screen. Suppose you screened only, means you got finally studied 100, but you screened 1,000 patients. Out of that, also mentioned, out of 1,000 we got this much which satisfied inclusion exclusion criteria, which will be definitely more than your actual number, final number. So suppose that inclusion criteria was 120, then out of 120, how many were excluded because of this exclusion criteria, and you always forget that if something, some post-operative, during operative complications or post-operative complications were excluded. But how many had those complications that you don't mention? So that also you should mention. So reader should get the correct idea that this you have studied in 100. Suppose you started the study with 150 and ultimately you are presenting result of only 75, dropout also you are not mentioning, then that means you are trying to, means your data is not really, I will not say genuine, but at least as a reader, I will not be able to understand whether what is the robustness of this analysis. So these are the points. Otherwise, all these points, whatever was highlighted was really fantastic. And I'm sure people should attend these kind of programs more often. And I like these kind of programs more. That's why I even agreed to participate in this. And what Amit Porwal suggested, definitely you should send this flyer that please read this, please visit this program and watch this before submitting your abstract. So then definitely it will improve their quality and the substance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for all the kind words and the very honest appraisal. And I wish to thank on behalf of the entire scientific committee that all of you have spent time and effort, and especially on a Sunday evening, to our chairperson especially, and our presenters who brought in all those very, very important points. Thank you very much and good night. Good night to every one of you.